Hi, have you heard about ketogenic diet, but you are not sure what it is and what could be the benefits for you? Well, stay tuned because I'm gonna explain to you ketogenic diet in an easy way. Well, if you have been on my channel, you know that I'm talking a lot about PCOS and insulin resistance on this channel. And one of the things very often recommended for insulin resistance is ketogenic diet. And I'll be honest, I'm the person who is on that diet right now. Now, I want to start this video saying that everybody is going to be completely different. However, there are some universal things and some universal mechanisms that might help you, especially if you have insulin resistance and PCOS, to improve with ketogenic diet. So let's go through this. What is ketogenic diet? Ketogenic diet basically changes the way your body metabolizes energy. So we're switching from carbohydrates fuel to a fat fuel. And that requires us to change macronutrients that we are eating. So in ketogenic diet, your macronutrient levels are going to look a little bit different. Now, there's a little wiggle room about them, but let's say for the sake of this video, especially if you're starting with a ketogenic diet, I would recommend starting with 80% of fats, 15% of protein, and 5% of carbs. And you really shouldn't go over 20 grams of net carbohydrates. Net carbohydrates are total carbohydrates minus the fiber, so you shouldn't cross 20 grams. And what is going to happen when you're going to go on ketogenic diet? I will do the separate video about adaptation and so on, but let me talk a little bit more about the metabolism of the energy. So if you haven't seen the playlist about insulin resistance, please make sure you check it out because I explain a little bit more about the mechanism, but let me go through a really quick explanation. So that is our cell that is being fed glucose. So we have glucose in the bloodstream. Now in insulin resistant person, our insulin receptor that is allowing glucose inside is not allowing that glucose to come in. So in turn, we are not really creating energy and the extra glucose is being stored in the fat. Now, in case of ketones, when you switch to a different fuel, your ketones can go inside your cells and then create energy in your mitochondria without the use of insulin. So the whole mechanism is a little bit different. So it's kind of like finding a side door somewhere, like if your general normal insulin door does not work, this could be the way to go. And this is the way to go, for example, for many people with insulin resistance and with PCOS. Now, what are the benefits of ketogenic diet? As I mentioned already, we are switching to a different kind of fuel. The energy is produced a little bit more efficiently and is also a little bit cleaner. Every time our mitochondria are creating energy from glucose, there is a lot of waste, a lot of free radicals that can cause oxidative stress on our body. However, when we're using ketones for fuel, this is much cleaner energy. And as I mentioned before, if your engine of glucose is broken due to PCOS or insulin resistance, this other backup engine that we have is going to be the way to go. Now think about that as well. The fat that we accumulate on our body, the whole mechanism, evolutionary mechanism, is made for us to have a backup fuel in case of famine. Now both fasting and ketogenic diet are kind of simulating accessing this backup fuel that you already gathered, either rightfully so or way too much due to your insulin resistance, because of course we are accumulating way more fat that normal healthy person would have. So that is one benefit. Second benefit is improved focus. Many people see big improvement in their cognitive function, whether it is due to the fact that we have a little bit cleaner fuel, whether it is due to the fact that we have a little bit more energy, especially if we are insulin resistant. Many people say that their focus and their concentration became way better. Now, another, of course, usually very welcomed side effect is weight loss. So again, especially for all the people who are insulin resistant, weight loss can be very tricky. And some people, due to their insulin resistance, even though they restrict calories, their engine is broken and they cannot access this fat. So for those kind of people, ketogenic diet might be fantastic. Now, another huge benefit is that ketogenic diet made properly is anti-inflammatory, which means that if you have chronic inflammation that again very often is connected to insulin resistance or is connected to inflammatory case of PCOS, can be a huge benefit for you. And especially if you also have some coexisting inflammatory diseases, this is something that might help you tremendously. Now, another thing that is very important is blood sugar issues. If you suffer from sugar highs and sugar lows, and if you're not diagnosed with, for example, type 1 diabetes, this should definitely help you regulate your blood sugar, and that definitely has been reported as one of the benefits. Another thing is that very often many women who start ketogenic diet, and again I will emphasize it again, those are women with previous health conditions, for example like PCOS, insulin resistance and so on, they report more hormonal balance. And what do I mean by that? Very often it can be due to something very simple, like increased amounts of fats in our diet, which other diets very often lack of. For us women, we definitely need fats in our diet to create estrogen and progesterone in the right way. So sometimes it can be just the case of that. Sometimes it aids weight loss and lowers insulin resistance. It can help you ovulate, which of course means that it regulated hormones at the same time, because actually energy can go inside your cell. And many women actually report and actually call keto the fertility diet. And if you haven't heard about this before, I definitely recommend checking out groups on Facebook called Keto for Fertility, for example, when women share their experiences. Now, the last thing is, it might be anti-cancerogenic. What do I mean by that? Cancer cells very often feed off sugar, and this is their main source of energy. So there is a potential that ketogenic diet might actually starve cancer cells, and especially combined with intermittent fasting, with longer periods of fasting when we can enter autophagy, which I will talk about in a separate video, then it can be very anti-cancerogenic as well. That is it. That are the main basis of a ketogenic diet, what it is and what are the benefits. Make sure you like this video, subscribe and click the notification bell so you are informed about my future videos, and let me know in the comments, have you ever tried ketogenic diet? Has it worked for you or maybe not? Is there any other diet that you like, especially for hormonal balance and insulin resistance? Let me know and I'll see you soon. Bye.